You want to know what's wrong with WWE right now? Look at Survivor Series 2024. Look at what they did to Damian Priest. This man, this absolute warrior, gave everything he had against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, and what did he get in return? Disrespect. Pure, calculated disrespect. And before you come at me in the comments saying Gunther won clean, sit down, watch this breakdown, and then tell me if you still believe WWE didn't just execute one of the most questionable booking decisions of the year. Because what happened in Vancouver wasn't just a match, it was a statement. And that statement was crystal clear: your favorite wrestlers don't matter when Vince's golden boys are in the ring. Let me ask you something real quick. Do you think Damian Priest deserved better at Survivor Series? Drop your answer in the comments because I need to know if I'm the only one who saw this travesty unfold. Now, let's rewind. Survivor Series 2024, Vancouver. The World Heavyweight Championship is on the line. On one side, you have Gunther, the ring general, the mat wrestling machine, the man who held the Intercontinental Championship for what felt like an eternity. On the other side, you have Damian Priest, the former champion, the Archer of Infamy, a man who earned his spot at the top and had it ripped away in the most controversial fashion earlier in the year. This was supposed to be redemption. This was supposed to be Priest's moment to reclaim what was stolen from him. But instead, we got another chapter in WWE's book of Protect the Chosen One at all costs. From the opening bell, this match was electric. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend it wasn't incredible from a technical standpoint, because it absolutely was. Gunther came out with that methodical, bone-crushing style that's made him one of the most feared competitors in WWE history. Those chops, those weren't just strikes, those were statements of dominance. Every time Gunther's hand connected with Priest's chest, you could hear it echo throughout Rogers Arena. The man was literally trying to cave in Priest's sternum, and you know what? Priest kept getting back up. That's what made this match so infuriating to watch as a Damian Priest fan. Because this man gave everything. He absorbed punishment that would have ended most wrestlers' careers. He kicked out of moves that should have kept him down for the 3 count. He fought with the desperation of a man who knew this might be his last shot at the World Heavyweight Championship, and he fought like he deserved to be there. Because guess what? He did deserve to be there. Let me ask you this: what was your favorite near fall in this match? Was it Priest's South of Heaven chokeslam or that devastating Razor's Edge? Comment below. The near falls in this match were absolutely brutal. There was a moment, and if you watched this live, you know exactly what I'm talking about, where Priest hit Gunther with a South of Heaven chokeslam that should have ended the match right there. The impact, the elevation, the way Gunther's body crashed into the mat, it was perfect. The referee's hand came down 1, 2, and then Gunther's shoulder came up at 2.9. The crowd went insane. Social media exploded. Everyone watching thought we were about to witness the coronation of a new World Heavyweight Champion. But no, WWE had other plans. And that's where the anger starts to build. Because this wasn't just about Gunther being tough or resilient. This was about the pattern we've seen time and time again in WWE. When they want someone to be the guy, that person becomes superhuman. Logic goes out the window. Finishers that end careers suddenly become minor inconveniences. And the wrestler on the other side, they become a sacrificial lamb on the altar of WWE's chosen narrative. Gunther's offense throughout this match was vicious, I'll give him that. The man is a technician, a throwback to an era where wrestling was about holds, submissions, and breaking your opponent's will. Those Boston Crabs, those sleeper holds, those power bombs, each one was designed to systematically destroy Damian Priest. And to Priest's credit, he weathered the storm. He reversed when he could. He created openings. He showed the resilience that made him champion in the first place. But here's where things get controversial. The finish. Oh, that finish. After 30+ minutes of war, after both men had given everything they had, after the crowd was split down the middle chanting for both competitors, Gunther hits Priest with a powerbomb. Priest is down but not out. Gunther follows up with a sleeper hold, and you can see Priest struggling, fighting, refusing to give up. The referee is checking his arm. It drops once. It drops twice. And then Gunther transitions into another powerbomb and gets the pin. Now, on paper, that sounds like a definitive finish, right? But here's what WWE doesn't want you to remember: Damian Priest kicked out of Gunther's finisher earlier in the match. He survived the sleeper hold 4 minutes on end. He showed that he could hang with the ring general at his absolute best. So why did that particular sequence end the match when everything before it suggested Priest had more in the tank? Quick question for you: do you think WWE is protecting Gunther too much? Let me know in the comments. This is where the booking becomes questionable. This is where you have to ask yourself, was this match booked to tell the best story, or was it booked to protect Gunther's unstoppable aura at the expense of Damian Priest's momentum? Because let's be real, Priest didn't need to win this match to look strong. A competitive loss where he pushes Gunther to his absolute limit and maybe loses due to a fluke or outside interference, that keeps both men looking credible. But instead, we got a finish that made it seem like Gunther was always in control, always destined to win, and Priest was just there to make him look good. And that's the part that makes me angry. Damian Priest is one of the most talented performers on the roster right now. He can talk, he can work, he has the look, and the crowd responds to him. But WWE keeps putting him in positions where he's the stepping stone for their next big thing. First, it was losing the World Heavyweight Championship in controversial fashion. Now, it's losing to Gunther in what should have been his redemption story. At what point does WWE look at Damian Priest and say, you know what? This guy deserves his moment? The crowd in Vancouver was into this match. They weren't just watching, they were invested. Every near fall got a reaction. Every strike, every submission attempt, every hope spot for Priest had the audience on the edge of their seats. And when Gunther's music hit at the end and he stood victorious with the World Heavyweight Championship, you could feel the deflation in the arena. Not because Gunther is a bad champion, he's phenomenal, but because the story they told didn't have the payoff the audience wanted. Here's another thing that nobody's talking about, the physicality of this match bordered on dangerous. There were moments where you genuinely worried about both men's safety. Gunther's chops left welts on Priest's chest that will probably last 4 weeks. Priest's power moves had Gunther landing in positions that could have resulted in serious injury. These men beat the absolute hell out of each other, and for what? So Gunther could add another defense to his title reign while Priest gets shuffled back down the card? Let me ask you, where does Damian Priest go from here? Should he move to SmackDown, chase a different title, or demand a rematch? Drop your thoughts below. The storytelling in this match was actually really strong, I can't deny that. The callbacks to Priest's previous title reign, the desperation in his offense, the way Gunther systematically broke him down, it was all compelling television. But compelling television means nothing if the ending doesn't satisfy the narrative you've been building. And this ending? This ending felt like WWE saying, we appreciate Damian Priest's contribution, but he's not the guy. And maybe that's the harsh reality. Maybe in WWE's eyes, Damian Priest will never be the guy. Maybe he's destined to be the eternal gatekeeper, good enough to main event, good enough to hold a title for a cup of coffee, but never good enough to be the face of the brand. And if that's the case, then what was the point of this match? What was the point of building him up, giving him hope, giving the audience hope, just to tear it all down again? Gunther retaining makes sense from a certain perspective. He's dominant, he's credible, and WWE clearly has long-term plans for his championship reign. But those plans shouldn't come at the cost of making every other competitor look inferior. Wrestling works best when you have multiple credible threats to the champion. Right now, after Survivor Series, who in the WWE universe looks like they can actually beat Gunther? Who has the credibility after watching him demolish Priest, one of the company's top stars? The answer is troubling, nobody. And that's a problem WWE is going to have to address sooner rather than later. Because Gunther as an unstoppable champion is great for a while, but eventually, the audience needs to believe someone can dethrone him. And when you book your top contenders to lose decisively without any asterisks or controversy, you damage their credibility for future programs. So here's my final take on Gunther vs Damian Priest at Survivor Series 2024. It was an excellent match that told the wrong story. These two men went to war, left everything in the ring, and delivered a main event worthy of the Survivor Series name. But the finish, the decisive, clean finish, did more harm than good for the World Heavyweight Championship picture. Damian Priest deserved better. The audience deserved better. And honestly, even Gunther deserved a finish that didn't require burying his opponent to make him look strong. What do you think? Was Survivor Series 2024 a robbery, or am I overreacting? Comment below, share this video if you agree, and don't forget to subscribe to Wrestling Zone 1 for more breakdowns that tell you the truth about what's happening in WWE. Because someone has to hold this company accountable for their booking decisions, and that someone is US.